video with my ships and mermaids.
Hi, here we are in St. Augustine, Florida with Captain's Quarters Podcast, episode 154. Can you imagine that? 154 episodes?
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you. Now, our guest tonight is Miss Vesta Millard, and we are going to be talking with her about some projects she's already taken on and accomplished and received accolades for. But for now, Davey, how do we tell everybody to find our show?
Oh,
that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Every Monday night at 8 p.m., you can find us on Captain's Quarters Podcast on the YouTube channel. Use that QR code. Like us, follow us, subscribe to us. I personally like the like button because I like it when people like me. But you can subscribe because we want you to follow along with us and be a part of every show every week if you can. If you can't watch us live, we download and you can watch all 154 episodes by using that QR code. As always, our show is sponsored by the Pirate and Treasure Museum, St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, considered to be one of the world's largest pirate museums with 850 artifacts on authentic pirate history. We always like to open our show with respect using 8 bells, sponsored by our friends, the Rikers, a family of reenactors. They do Spanish, they do Colonial, they do British, they do Ren Fair, and they do Pirate. And they're very good at doing all of them. And they are some of my prized friends who help me with Mayhem's Traveling Nautical Museum also. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for 8 bells. Let's see if Davey is going to confound my vocabulary tonight. Who do we have? Billy Edward Ed Wheeler, an American songwriter, performer, writer, and visual artist. His songs include Jackson, Grammy Award winner for Johnny Cash and June Carter, The Reverend Mr. Black, Desert Pete, and High Flying Bird, The Coming of the Roads, It's Midnight, Ode to the Little Brown Shack Out Back, Coal Tattoo, Winter Sky, and Coward of the County. That was a big one for Kenny Rogers. And have been performed by over 160 artists. Wheeler was inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2001, the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame in 2007, and the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame in 2011. He was 91 years old. John David Souther, an American singer, songwriter, and actor. He wrote and co-wrote songs recorded by Linda Ronstadt and the Eagles. He co-wrote some of the biggest hits for the Eagles, including Best of My Love, Victim of Love, Heartache Tonight, A New Kid in Town, How Long, which appeared on the Eagles' Long Road Out of Eden and was written by Souther and originally recorded on his first solo album in '72. Souther recorded 2 major hit songs in his solo career, You're Only Lonely, 1979, and Her Town 2, 1981. A duel with his longtime friend James Taylor. Oh, a duet. I'm sorry.
So pirate of you.
Yes, a duet with his longtime friend James Taylor. He was 78 years old. Florence Warner, an American singer who worked mainly in recordings of television commercials, including the Hello News image campaign for Gary Communications. Warner appeared on several recordings in the 70s and early 80s, including a duet, got it right that time, with Demis Rousseau on his cover of Air Supply's Lost in Love from the 1980 album Man of the World. Her recording of the song Pirate was selected by Philips for inclusion on the demonstration disc. My goodness, I'm going to have to get better glasses. 810027-2. That came with the first compact disc players, such as the Philips Model CD200 in 1984. She sang on the ABC Network campaign, We're With You on ABC. She was 77. Nelson Richard DeMille, an American author of action, adventure, and suspense novels. His novels include Plum Island, The Charm School, The General's Daughter, which made a great movie. DeMille also wrote under the pen name Jack Cannon, Kurt Ladnier, Ellen Kay, and Brad Matthews. The General's Daughter, in 1999 American mystery thriller film based on the novel of the same name by Nelson DeMille. He was 81 years old. Catherine Crosby, an American actress and singer who performed in films under the stage name Catherine Grant and Catherine Grandstaff. She had feature roles such as Princess Parisa in The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad in 1958 and in the courtroom drama Anatomy of a Murder in 1959. She also played the part of Mama Bear with her husband and children in Goldilocks, and she co-starred with Jack Lemmon in the comedy Operation Mad Ball, 1957, with Tony Curtis, in drama Mr. Corey, and as a trapeze artist in The Big Circus. However, Crosby largely retired from acting by the 60s. She was 90 years old. Eugene Edward Mercury Morris, American former professional football player who was a running back and kick returner. He played for 8 years, primarily for the Miami Dolphins in the American Football League. As a rookie in 1969, then in the American Football Conference, following the 1970 merger with the National Football League. He was 77 years old. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we have for 8 bells. We raise a glass. We honor their passing, their great things they've done for the world, their family, and their fans. 8 bells, Davey. Very good. Good ones, Davey. A lot of songwriters, though. It's terrible when we lose people that can do such great work with words. As always, we like to bring it up just an extra notch and bring old Mini Mayhem in. I bet he's got another joke for us this week, does he not, Mr. Longwood?
He does.
It better be as good as the last two.
Ahoy, mates! Mini Mayhem here with Joke of the Week. Sponsored by Salt City Comics. Which famous pirate caught the most fish? Think about it, and I'll give you the answer at the end of the show.
I'm thinking about that one. Mandy's thinking. Look at it. You can see the thinking on her face right there.
I'm trying to think which way that could go.
Yeah, me too. I'm wondering. Well, we'll see at the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the show, Mini Mayhem will pop back in and give us his sad, sorry answer. All right, quote of the week is brought to you by Spyglass Travel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want a great walking tour of St. Augustine, call my friends up at Spyglass Travel. It's over an hour walking around the city. So not only do you get history,
You get exercise.
exercise. That's right. It's good for the cardio. So, ladies and gentlemen, quote of the week. Wherever you see persecution, there is more than a probability that truth lies on the persecuted side. Hugh Latimer. That fits very well in some of the ways I tell people that Facebook really does harm to the differences of opinions between people. Good one, Davey. Good one. I don't know where you find these, but you do good. So I say it's a new segment, but we've been doing it now for about, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that, maybe. It is our National Day of, which we do not have a sponsor for yet, but I'm working on new sponsors as we speak. Well, not as we speak now, but you know what I mean. So we have some great National Day ofs. Davey, you ready? On the 4th Monday in September, National Family Day encourages everyone to gather around the table and enjoy a meal together, something that is very well missing from family life in today's world.
And put the cell phones down.
Yeah, cell phones too. Yep, absolutely. I remember we had to be home in time for dinner every night, and we had to sit at the table, and Dad would ask us a few things about the day, where we would just talk and cut up and tell jokes, but it was family time. And it's very important, and it's missing in a lot of families today. Today also is National Teal Talk Day. Does that have anything to do with the Jaguars? Wait a minute, let's see. Each year, over 249,000 women are diagnosed with ovarian cancer worldwide. So gather your friends, wear teal for the day, out together and talk. A good one, very good. So now we know what National Teal Talk Day is. Very good, thank you. National Snack Stick Day. Step into a Slim Jim. Encourages you to pack your pockets, backpacks, and desk drawers with yummy snack sticks so you can celebrate. Primarily made with beef, pork, snack sticks harken back to the days when families preserved quantities of beef, pork, and game, called jerky back then, but now we have beef sticks. And they're good. To a point. To a point. It's also Great American Pot Pie Day. Cook up a toasty meal on September 23rd. Warm up the home with a toasty meal of pot pies to celebrate. Pot pies typically include a flaky top crust and bottom crust. Either way, fill them with tender chicken, beef, or pork. Lots of vegetables for a hearty meal. You can't beat a good pot pie. I'll tell you that. Now the next one, National Checkers Day, which is also known as Dogs in Politics Day, recognizes political pooches and candidate canines, first Fidos, and revolutionary warriors. Now, I have a few other things to add to this because as I was reading about it, I found it quite interesting and hope that you will too, because there are many presidents. For example, President Carter was winning the election. His first dog was being born at that time, a border collie, but only lived with the first family for a short time. Another White House canine by the name of Murray the Outlaw of Fala Hill, Fala for short, created quite a stir. The well-traveled Scottish Terrier of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was notorious for taking off. After one trip with FDR to the Aleutian Islands, rumors suggested that the president forgot his pet. According to the talk, the president sent the Navy back to recover the dog, and stories spread and became fodder for political debate during the next election. That's a good one. Not being a dog person, however, is not a great idea. However, I mean, not being a dog person is one thing, but however, rejecting one that is a gift will outrage a nation. That's what happened to President Harry S. Truman when he had a puppy delivered to him as a gift named Feller into his presidency. When after some time Feller stopped making appearances, the public wanted to know where he was. Truman's evasiveness didn't codify the constituents either, and eventually the president had to come clean and admit they were not a dog family, to the shock of the nation, but they never admitted what they did with the dog.
Oh, no.
Many other dogs have lived in the White House. Ronald Reagan's Lucky, who I happen to have met the dog, and Herbert Hoover's 9 different dogs. They either provided companionship or were family members. So there are many, many. Nixon gave a speech that was called the Checkers speech, and that was the president that had checkers, was Richard Nixon.
There it is.
We were trying to figure that out at pre-show. So there you have it. So it's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. We have the first lady, or in some cases, this next election could actually have the first gentleman.
First man.
Or first man. And almost all of them all have the first dog. So an interesting thing. What was the last one, Davey? Restless Legs Awareness Day promotes education around a medical condition impacting adults and children alike. Restless leg syndrome, RLS, also known as Willis-Ekborn disease, is characterized by uncontrollable urges to move the legs. The condition affects approximately 7% of the population. That is something that we should all be made aware of. There is one more, Davey. We didn't get it in the thing, and we talked about it prior to, and that is Energize Day. National Energize Day is the day after the autumnal equinox. And being that I have a witch on the show with me tonight, we thought we would bring that up because Sunday was autumnal equinox, correct?
Yes, it's also Mabon in the Wiccan calendar.
Is it?
Yes, it's considered a high holy day.
So we're celebrating Energize Day. So what does it actually mean to bring your spirit back into
alignment?
Alignment.
Absolutely.
Very good. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So it did bring me to this question for question of the week, because I've always wondered, and it's sponsored by Ancient City Sirens, Miss Gina and her girls. And I've always wondered, if you, besides, let me talk about Miss Gina real quick. If you want a good belly dancing group, they know it all. But they also do fusion dance, they do country line dance, they do everything. So if you need dancers for your event, call up Miss Gina and the Ancient City Sirens. But it brings me to question of the week now. What do you think of our segment on National Day Of? We've only been doing it for about a month and a half. I enjoy learning new things, which I hope everybody else does. And I will tell you this, we got some really great comments from people at Ancient City Con who have seen our show. And I've gotten some other comments from other people that have seen our show. And one of the things they like about our show is the wide variety of everything we do. And so we're sticking with that. And National Day Of just happens to add to it a little bit. So if you like it, let us know. If you don't like us, let us know. We'll ignore you, but let us know anyway.
Touche.
All right. Now, I think I'm going to remove this from there. We don't need that. Oh, it's This Week in Nautical History, Davey. Right on time. Go ahead, Davey. This Week in Nautical History, sponsored by Florida Water Tours. You want a great walking tour, get Spyglass Travel. You want a great boat tour, get Florida Water Tours. My two favorite tour companies in all of St. Augustine. Bring it up, Davey. Let's see what we got.
Welcome to This Week in Nautical History, sponsored by our friends at Florida Water Tours. Experience the Intercoastal Waterway at its finest, featuring picture-perfect attractions. We begin This Week in Nautical History in the year 1066. William the Conqueror's troops set sail from Normandy to conquer England. 1492. Crewmen on the Pinta sights land a few weeks early. Columbus himself later claimed that he had seen a sort of light or aura before the crewmen did, allowing him to keep the reward he had promised to give to whoever spotted land first. The land turned out to be a small island in present-day Bahamas. 1493. Christopher Columbus embarks on his second expedition to the New World, setting sail with a fleet of 17 ships. 1779. John Paul Jones aboard the USS Bohemian. Richard defeats the British frigate HMS Serapis and becomes the United States' first well-known naval hero. 1835. HMS Beagle sails to Charles Island in the Galapagos Archipelago. 1853. Cornelius Vanderbilt circumnavigates the world aboard his private yacht, North Star. 1854. French fishing vessel SS Vesta collides with American passenger paddle wheel ship SS Arctic off Newfoundland in heavy fog, sinking the larger passenger ship. 322 killed. Most of the survivors were crew members. 1857. Russian warship Lefort disappears in a storm in the Gulf of Finland. 826 die. 1861. Secretary of U.S. Navy authorizes enlistment of slaves. 1934. British ocean liner RMS Queen Mary is launched. Wins Blue Right Band for fastest passenger crossing of Atlantic. 1936 and 1938 to 52. Retired in 1967. Permanently moored and converted to a hotel in Long Beach, California. And finally, in 1941, U.S. President Roosevelt launches the first Liberty ship freighter SS Patrick Henry. And that was This Week in Nautical History.
Very good, Davey. And a little point about was it the Queen Elizabeth?
Queen Mary.
Right, yeah, the Queen Elizabeth. It is a hotel in Long Beach, California, and every year during pirate invasion of Long Beach, pirates from around the country have booked a room on that floating hotel while they're at the pirate Long Beach invasion.
Isn't that funny? There was a ship called Vesta.
Yeah, we noticed that too. 322 people were killed.
She didn't fare too well.
No, so, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to our guest and bring Vesta in on more conversation, we have two other things to share with you. One of them is Spooktacular. It's on the horizon, about 35 days away now.
Wow.
Yes. Is that the video, Davey, or is that just a good picture?
I put a good picture because we still haven't made a regular sign. We still have the one asking for.
Yep, that's true. Now, if you still want to be a sponsor of our Spooktacular, you still can do it. Now, of course, the way the dates are read there, it is now it's now actually $300 because we're at the 23rd. But I am willing to tell anybody that would like to jump in and be a part of our Spooktacular, we'll give you the $200 rate as a gift for being a watcher of our show. So if you want to do it, now we're going to close sponsorships out probably next week. So there'll only be one more Monday that you can actually take advantage of this little deal that the captain likes to parlay out to everybody. So we got some good sponsors this year. In fact, Miss Vesta is one of our sponsors also, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. The next thing we want to just give a quick mention of, because my brother will be on the show in a couple of weeks, and that's the Pirates of the High Seas and Renaissance Fest, October 11, 12, and 13 in Panama City Beach, Florida. It is a great, fun time. There are mermaids and fireworks and fire circus, parades, a treasure drop, cirque, adventure, and more. I'm not familiar with that one. And yes, Captain Mayhem will be there. I believe they have me scheduled to do a show Friday, a show Saturday, and a show Sunday. And when I'm not on the stage during the show, you can come to the St. Augustine Swashbucklers Period Correct Encampment, and I will do a little bit of magic there across the barrels if you like. So come out and enjoy us. It will be a lot of fun. I do know that Parlay 8, who's on the show now, they will be out there also. And I also know that some other friends of ours, Emily and Robert Farrell. Emily has Octopod Trading. They will be there as well. And I had just had a conversation with my brother over the weekend, and they're trying to put us all pretty close together so that in the evening while we're sitting there around our fire, we can share the rum. Because after all, that's what Parlay 8 likes, is rum. There you go. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to officially welcome my guest, Miss Vesta Millard. Now, we have...
Oh, thank you.
There you and I think that was a standing ovational applause. Too.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
There you go.
This is my third time on the show.
It
so
is.
I'm very excited to be back again.
It is. And Vesta Box at the bottom of the screen.com. That is how you can find out more about her. But we're going to talk about it in a little bit. But we met at a yard sale.
That's right.
Almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I was...
You were planning a movie.
That's it. In anticipation of that movie, I had found out that there was a giant pirate yard sale. And I had been thinking about putting a bunch of pirates in my movie. And I thought, let's go down there and see what the pirates are all about and maybe scarf up some really good costumes as well.
Well, you got, not only did you get some good costumes, but you also got some people within our crew that make good costumes.
Christina Gibson and
That's
Chaos
right.
Creations.
And you've got some great pirate actors. Not all of them, including
Well, not
myself.
everybody's a Laurence Olivier.
No, I'm definitely not. But I always tell everybody when I brag about the movie, I always tell everybody, you came into our lives, you told us about this movie, about a witch. A very quick synopsis. It was about a witch that goes back in time to kill the Puritan leaders who are destroying the witches of the time frame around 1668. It was, I believe, right?
1647.
47. Okay.
Close.
So, and this witch just happens to meet a pirate captain. Duh. So it was a lot of fun. I believe there were probably at least 20 of our crew. Half of our crew was in the movie in some way, shape, or form.
I have to say a big thank you to St. Augustine Swashbucklers, because in all honesty, I would not have a movie if it weren't for you guys. And Christina Gibson and Chaos Creations with period authentic costumes.
Right.
And that was very important to me. is to stay as close to the storyline as I possibly could and give you a role based on a pirate that you've always admired, Bartholomew Roberts.
Yeah, my favorite pirate is Bartholomew Roberts. I'm just moving this out of the way for now. My favorite pirate is Bartholomew Roberts, and your pirate was Bartholomew Redding.
That's right.
Which was kind of a similar pirate. In a way, he was, I want to say a God-fearing man, but because his sister in the movie, and I don't want to give too much away, but because his sister in the movie was also a witch, that because there's some links there. He was a stern, solemn pirate captain.
Well, and here's the thing: both witches and pirates were rebels of their time.
Sure, they were.
They always went outside the box, and so there was a commonality there in that they were both against the conformity of the time. Which is why I thought it made for a great storyline, because obviously when the witch character that's played by me, Tara Ward, goes back in time, she's cautioned not to use her magic. So she has to use her wits as a woman. And how was she to get from one town to the other without the help of a pirate captain and his crew and his ship?
That's right. Now, this was the 4th movie in your series.
That's right.
But this isn't the only thing that Vesta has done. If you go to her website, I'm sure there's all kinds of things on there, but Davey was making some things up for today. Did you make videos, Davey, or just pictures?
No, I got video clips from some of the different stuff from commercials.
So instead of me talking, you pop one up and we'll let Vesta. Now, can we listen to Vesta at the same time you're playing something?
Should be able to.
Well, then let's just pop something up. We'll watch it, and then we'll let Vesta tell us about what it was.
Vesta was a good evil queen.
She was an evil queen in that. That was Vesta's voice for the evil queen. I do have to say at the end that spell that attracts burritos. They were disguised as tacos. So that was a Nickelodeon show?
Yeah.
Was it a one-time show or a
No,
series?
it was a whole series, and it ran on Saturday mornings. It was
Really?
a lot of fun. I voiced it in New York City.
Wow, that's a really cool one.
That was my old voice, like this.
And how far back was that? Do you want to say?
I think I want to say, well, I've been down here 8 years, so it had to be about 9 years ago.
Wow,
I did
very
that,
good.
yeah.
That's a nice one. What else you got, Davey?
All right.
Yes. I'm Detective Sloan. This is Detective Gregory.
Is this your car in the driveway?
Yes, it is.
That vehicle had been stopped so many times by our law enforcement that the mother actually got very upset.
The mother, Marilyn Vick, even threatens police with a lawsuit.
I can't go 2 blocks in this town without it getting stopped and pulled over by a patrol car.
She actually went so far as to making a homemade sign to put on the back of the Bronco that said something like, "This is not the Bronco," or "Don't waste your call."
So that was a murder mystery?
Reenactment.
A reenactment?
A true crime reenactment. And I play the mother of the murderer. So I'm trying to protect my son.
And do you know, does the mother in this one know he's the murderer?
Oh, sure.
Oh, so let's see. An evil queen, an evil mother.
Oh, dear.
What else do we have, Davey? Is that
Green Gobbler leaves your pipes clear and flowing free. Green Gobbler is only activated by water and is lab tested to work on all types of drains. Perfect for every sink, tub, or shower in your home. Watch Green Gobbler tackle a solid block of grease. It goes to work on contacting, emulsifying, and liquefying all the grease, the fat, and the oil in seconds, and all without any toxic fumes.
Having a family of 5 plus pets leads to a lot of clogged drains. Green Gobbler is safe, effective, and easy to use, and it works every time. I'll never use anything else.
There's your
Green Gobbler.
Your Green Gobbler now. All right. Well, that's pretty good. So you've done TV commercials. You've done cartoon voiceovers. Davey, is there anything else, or do we just...
We're live
from Creative Ministries in Oakdale. And I am so pleased and proud to be a part of the 5th show. I can't believe it's been 5 years already. We are celebrating the arts. We are celebrating teenagers who live, breathe, and die for showbiz. And it's going to be one heck of a show. And you'll get to see us talk to them. You'll get to see actual performances from the show. And it's just a great night for the theater in general. So come along with us as we give you some of the highlights of the 5th annual 2013 Teenie Awards.
I want to help.
Very cool. So you were the UVMC of this show?
MC, and I did some reporting for a local cable television.
Well, you have quite the resume. Is there something that Davey might have missed that you want to brag about?
Oh,
We hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Nova here on your PBS station. Week after week, year after year, Nova continues to deliver.
This is an epic journey.
Really is, breathtaking and awe-inspiring.
If learning more about this incredible world makes you feel more alive and in touch, it's thanks to this PBS station.
Start your robots.
Right now, we're inviting you to step up to the plate and make more Nova episodes possible. It's really easy. Call the number on your screen or visit us online right now to make a generous contribution. You'll be doing your part to support the most watched primetime science series on American television, a program that makes science interesting and accessible to your entire family without dumbing down the information.
That is quantum mechanics in action.
Whoa! You can give on an annual basis, or you can choose an ongoing monthly contribution, an easy and convenient way to ensure that you can watch great science programming for years to come.
You got to work for PBS.
Pardon me. That was a great show. I remember watching episodes of Nova. There was some really great things in there. It's a lot of. I like interesting things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done voiceovers, which is the reason your website is called Vesta Vox.
Right. Vox is Latin for voice. So it just literally means Vesta's voice.
There it is. So this is, now we've talked before, you also did some radio time too.
30 years in radio.
Yeah, a lot of radio time.
Yeah.
New York stations?
Yes. WLTW New York, also Connecticut, Long Island, big 50,000 water called Walk FM. Just a lot of radio. So that really got me going with the voiceover idea that I was tired of making money for other people. And I thought, well, maybe I can try this act solo. So I have.
And I would be remiss in not mentioning that because it gives me an opportunity to brag about somebody else here in town. We actually met on the advice of somebody that we both know.
Yes, Jim Stafford, the owner and operator of Eclipse Recording Studio right here in St. Augustine. A wonderful facility. And he's a terrific guy. And he was the one that said to me, if you want pirates, you need to talk to William Mayhem.
And have you used his studios to do some of your voice? I know you have a studio in your house too.
I do. When I do more complex things, like if there's sound effects that are needed or necessary, or a track mixed with music. And he's helped me edit a lot of my projects as well.
I think I've done 2 projects with him for voice. Both of them had something to do with the Lions Club Seafood Festival.
Mm-hmm.
For 1 or 2 years, I did that.
And you have a terrific voice,
yeah.
very, very, melodic and low, good tone to it.
So that brings me to a question then I'm going to ask you. Because this is how I am. I hate my voice.
Well, I think most people do, especially when they hear it.
What we hear
is different.
Is way different because we're hearing it from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I hear it in a recording or I hate watching myself do magic shows too. Can't stand it. I don't like watching myself perform. No matter what anybody thinks about my entertainment ego, I do not like to watch myself perform.
There's some actors that won't even watch their own movies.
Yeah, I'm trying to. He was in A Few Good Men. Jack Nicholson.
Mm-hmm.
He's one that hates to watch his performances.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it is. I don't. And here's why for me, especially if it's a magic show. I will critique the hell out of myself and go, wow, what an idiot you are. Why'd you say that? Why'd you do that? What are you, a dumbbell? I really hate it. So,
I think there's like an inner sense of just self-awareness and insecurity in all of us to a certain degree.
but yet then we all go on to become some form or level of performer.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're driven to do what we do, and the arts is such a wonderful outlet. And actually, if you're afraid, you know, they try to encourage you to take the baby steps and do public appearances and more socialization. Why not? I mean, it pushes you outside of your comfort zone.
I think it is one of a couple of the basic premises that Harry Houdini created the idea of National Magic Week.
Mm-hmm.
And in that edit that he did, he told magicians that they should step out, and National Magic Week would be the week that you would go and do magic shows for free for schools and old folks' homes and hospitals and whatever else. I think it was a twofold reason. And if you do some research, I probably could find it. But I believe that Harry Houdini did truly believe that doing for the community was very important, which is probably why we do so much as pirates now. But I also believe that he also thought, which I firmly believe, and I did this, I still do it, doing free shows when you're first starting out
gives you the experience.
Gives you the experience and the chops to do better.
And you're an ambassador of sorts when
Right.
when you're reaching out, as you said, to the general public and the community, especially children that love magic and get such a thrill out of seeing it right in front of them.
Right.
There's a woman that's on America's Got Talent. And I meant to mention this to you, and her name is Solange Canaldi, and she does this magic trick where she changes outfits.
Oh yes.
And she
Quick
is
changes.
one of the front runners.
Yeah.
She might win the whole thing, and she's fantastic.
Yeah, I've seen some clips of her. She's already been listed as the fastest quick change artist in the world right now.
And I don't even know how she does it. I mean,
She's whatever
in seconds, she
her-
changes
her-
outfits
Her methods are
beyond.
I know how it's done, but I don't know how she's been able to make it work so well.
The grand finale of her act, she is given a giant hoop, which she sits in, and then they raise her up to the ceiling, and she does a change up in the hoop.
Wow. That's
It's
amazing.
beyond.
I'm going to have
It's
to go online and look at that now.
jaw-dropping, and she's a beautiful woman to watch change
Yeah.
anyway. So I wish her a lot of luck. But speaking of magicians that are forefront, it's wonderful to see a woman magician
Yes.
making inroads.
Yes, it is. There have been a few in Vegas. There was Melinda for the longest time, but
Isn't it still mostly a male-dominated field?
yes, it is.
Mhm.
It really
Why do you
is.
think that is? Just
I don't know. I don't think I could answer that. Maybe because for the most part, let's go back to your what's the word I want to use here? Your involvement in the lore of witches.
Mhm.
All right, let's
Okay.
go to that.
Sure.
Even in some covens had a male leader.
Yes, but usually in the minority.
True, but let's take it away from the witches and let's go to anything else that had anything to do with magic, whether it was indigenous tribes or Indian, whatever.
Or wizards, yeah.
Wizards, warlocks. There are other names for magicians, magi. They always, all the time, fell into a male role, always, through history. So I think, and then you come with Robert Houdin, some will pronounce it Houdin, who for Napoleon went to the Middle East to prove to the Algerians that Napoleon's magic was better than their magi's of their tribe. And again, males magi's of the tribes of Algeria and a male wizard magician from Napoleon. So I think it's always been that way. I know some other magicians that are females, and they're really very good, and as good as their counterparts in many
Absolutely.
cases. So I think what makes a good magician or a good performer, let's take it away from magic, so it's not just that, but I think what makes a good performer is that a performer finds their niche, and that's what they work within. For example, let's take yours. You have found being a voice artist is one of the things that you do that you enjoy doing and does work for you. Not to say that because you're an actress also, you've been in these movies too.
Yes.
But you find the different levels and the different things you do, and with your comfort zone, it makes you better. And once you're better, then you can branch out to other things. In my case, I got convinced to do the ballet for 2 years in a row.
And you were never a dancer?
I was not a dancer. I was definitely not into the ballet, but I did it and I enjoyed it and I had a good time. But I would never have done it had I not done some of the other things I've done as a magician or as an actor.
And isn't it funny how life presents us with opportunities? And as I said, sometimes takes us out of our comfort zone.
True.
And I think one of the great secrets to life that I've learned, and it's so simple, but I mean, it just keeps repeating the lesson. Learn what you do well and stick to it. Yeah. Learn what you do not do well and stay away from it. I mean, that's just common sense, you know.
True.
The same way I would never be a downhill skier.
No.
And you would never be a prima ballerina.
No. Thank goodness in the ballet I got to wear pirate clothes.
There it is. So, but there's that connection.
So let's go back to your childhood. Did you always want to be something in the entertainment world as a child?
Well, both my parents were on Broadway,
oh,
so I guess it was
no choice.
by default.
By default,
yeah. I mean, and I had a crazy upbringing. It wasn't the best scenario. My father did not work a 9-to-5 job. He was never home on weekends or holidays.
Yeah. And
my mother was a performer, so I mean, their careers kind of came first. And the way it worked that benefited me was that I was left alone a lot, and then I had to use my imagination to entertain myself, and I was quite content with that.
Well, there's a point right there. A similar situation within my childhood. We were military brats. Mm-hmm. My brother and my sister and I, we were military brats, and every 2, 3, 4 years we're being uprooted and put in a new town and a new city and a new school. How do you make friends?
You adapt.
You adapt
quickly.
And the way I made friends was part of it was magic. The other part of it was that I just found funny in everything. I was, a smart aleck, and I found funny in everything. So I think as children, depending on our upbringing, depends. And go look at some of the best comedians in the world, and sadly, some of them, because of this, are also gone. Lived. I can say I didn't live this part of it, but they lived lives of deep depression.
Had horrible childhoods.
Absolutely. Childhoods. I had a wonderful childhood, but we were uprooted every 3 years and had to deal with it. And it was scary to me at times.
And with the military, I would think that influence made you very regimented, very contained, very controlled, and you learn to make that work for you in a positive way.
Yes. So it is. Now, your parents, neither one are no longer with us, right?
Correct.
They both passed on.
They were the reason I moved down to Florida.
Right.
To care for them.
Now, did they do anything on Broadway that is of note that you brag about or I could tell people about?
Well, I think my mother's most famous show that she did was Damn Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
The original Damn Yankees with Ray Walston and Gwen Verdon. She actually did 3 shows with Gwen Verdon. They were kind of like besties.
And Ray Walston was the Scarecrow in the Wizard of Oz, right?
No. He was my favorite Martian.
My favorite Martian. Oh, yeah. Okay.
The Scarecrow was Ray Bolger.
Okay. 2 Rays.
Yeah.
that last name.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And what did your father do?
My father was a Broadway musician. So he did a lot of recordings, and he did commercials as well, soundtracks to movies. He did Reds with Warren Beatty.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, I grew up with a performing, and it was always the show must go on, no matter what.
Yeah.
We learned to perform whether we were sick, whether there were deaths in the family, no matter what. And this is instilled in me, ingrained in me. You talk about film days, 10-hour days on set that are incredibly boring. And most of the time the actors are standing around waiting for the production crews to do the camera setups. And your crew had to endure this. You got to see what making a film is like firsthand.
So I had been a part of Tin Cup, Tombstone.
As an extra.
Mm-hmm. He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Those are the 3 that I always remember that I've been a part of. And being an extra standing around
in
Tin Cup on a damn golf course for 10, 12, 11 hours a day because one, they're trying to set the cameras, and two, the director's screaming at everybody because the light's going, the sunlight's going. We kind of do it this way now.
We're losing light.
We're
That's a
losing
big
light.
one. Yeah.
It's huge. So I understood it. Some of the crew that joined us, it was a new experience for them.
Yeah.
But this is one of the things I delight in having a crew and being the captain of a crew. Some of these things that I enjoy doing or want to do or want to see, I get to share with them and bring them in on it. Was it fun for them?
Not necessarily.
At the time, it wasn't.
No, and
but
that's fair.
Afterwards, when they see the results of their efforts, then it is fun. They look back at it with a better memory.
And I want to give a specific shout out to 3 of your crew members, other than Christina Gibson, who did the incredible costumes for my film. John Boyd, also known as Tinker, was given a role with lines at the last minute because and in all honesty, the actor who was supposed to be the Judge Charles Booth, got a better gig and quit on the day he was supposed to. Imagine. So we don't know what to do. Our production team, had counted on this one actor, Scott was his name. Scott was supposed to show up and put on the judge's wig and read the lines. And so we learned that he's not coming, and we're looking around to see who could play that role. And John Boyd, who's never acted in his life, and is a dear friend and is your like an armorer, or what does he do for the crew?
So traditionally the captain names most of the crew, and because he can fix just about anything, that's why he's called Tinker.
So he's like an engineer.
He's like,
he builds things.
He builds and does things. So and we still once in a while will tease him because he's doing the part of a judge in the 1600s England with a southern accent. A Georgia accent. So,
but you know what? You don't even notice it.
No,
and
not
he looks
really.
Great.
No,
but imagine the terror. Imagine, I would, relate it to being an astronaut, and here you're going to pilot this ship, this capsule into outer space, and you've never done it before. Here you go, fly that plane. Here we go.
So he did a good job.
He did a great job.
Who are the other two?
Rob Adams. And Bill, is it Vershave?
Yes.
And they were made redcoats. Again, a role that they had not planned on doing, and it was simply because the coats I had ordered, the redcoat coats, came from China with love. And anything, I don't know if you've had this experience or not, but I have. Anytime you order something from China, you need to go up about 3 sizes because they come in these little shrunken, like, I'm never going to fit that. So the red coats came, and they were actually not cheap. They were rather expensive. And the men that they were supposed to fit, the men that were going to wear them, they looked like they were bound up like, little toys. So we had, again, if the coat fits, you have to wear it. That's like Cinderella's shoe. I went running around to all of the men in your crew and say, here, try this on. Does this work for you? Here's the hat. So Rob Adams stepped into that role, and so did Bill Vershave. So they were immediately upgraded. They had to be in more scenes, which meant they had to spend the entire day on set, as opposed to just the morning, and you're free to go. So kudos to you guys, and kudos to everyone in your crew. A heartfelt thanks, and of course yourself for playing my captain Bartholomew Redding, and your lovely wife Kara, who was also an extra in the movie. So it really elevated the production value.
The scene where you're going to, and this, if you know things about history of witches, they would throw them in the water, and if they drowned, they were innocent. So you have that scene. And that ending scene, Donna's nonverbal part in that movie is really...
Donna Bojas, is that how you say her name? That would happen to be Davy Longwood's wife. And she was incredible.
That's one of the best nonverbal scene pieces that I can think of in a long time.
And she is an actress.
And she is an actress.
So this was right in her wheelhouse. I mean, she knew how to cry on command. And but honestly, just to recap, I would not have a movie if it weren't for yourself and your crew. So
that movie is called Time Will Tell.
Correct.
It's not quite out yet. Still going through
No,
editing?
it's done.
It's done,
And
okay.
you're the first to learn this. I can make the announcement. The movie was finished last night.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
So, Davey, do we have a poster of it? Do you have a poster on on screen, or do you have a clip? There it is. There's the poster. We displayed that poster at Ancient City Con last week. And it's a really great poster.
We have the villains on one side. That's the two gentlemen.
Those are the two Puritans that we're hoping to kill.
Yeah, and then we have the captain on the so that the negative people, the evil people. I hate to use that word; it's overused. But the gentlemen that caused so much pain and turmoil in the 1600s are to my audience left, my right, and then you're on the other side. And we have the tour boat, the Black Raven. Which actually subbed that and the Neo Trinidad. Both boats were used in the film.
Right. And if you want a copy of that poster that you can use because my face is on it and you can put it in your garage to keep the rats away, I'll make sure you get copies of that. But so, Davey, what clip do you have? One clip or several clips of the movie that we can show? Davey?
I got 2 clips.
Okay, very good. Davey was sleeping.
You're accused of the crime of witchcraft and hereby sentenced to hang until dead.
Who speaks to me?
The Witchfinder General and his nefarious partner are killing our kind and countless others. But if you die, then our line will cease to be. Use your power to come to Bellhaven.
How am I to do this?
Seek the Black Raven.
It is imperative that I get to Bellhaven. I need to stop 2 terrible men.
The devil's mark! Clearly the sign of a witch. She's a witch, and she's bewitched you.
On this day and in this hour, give us all the magic power.
You're running out of time, Miss Ward.
The difference between medicine and poison is the dosage, you see.
You must avenge my sister's death.
You have my word as a witch.
Maybe it's time for a new adventure.
Get a copy of that and start showing it around.
And Dee is in it too.
Yeah, and Dee is in it.
But then I got permission from her, and I was able to take and pull and make a special clip. So here it is.
Okay, let's see what the special clip is.
I'm so sorry. This shouldn't be happening.
I'll help you, but upon one condition.
Of course. Anything at all. Just name it.
You must avenge my sister's death.
You have my word as a witch.
Then we have an accord. For now, though, I must check on the progress of my crew topside. You may wait here in my cabin until such time as I return.
What be the meaning of all of this? We know you're harboring a woman on the ship, Captain.
And what's it matter to you? We've sworn an oath to protect women and children.
She's a witch, you blasphemous old fool, and she's bewitched you.
You silly ass. All of you, get back to work before I send you to Davy Jones' locker himself.
All hands on deck! All hands on deck!
Very good, Davey. Good editing. Look good. Gosh, when you can edit something and make even me look good, I'll be pleased with it. Very good.
Vesta gave me permission to do that. That's not an official clip.
It is not an official clip, but we do want to share the official clip now, starting on our pages and everything, and maybe we'll pop it in. So before we go on to the next movie that you've done, and you were just about to say something. So
well, I just wanted to mention that we filmed that mutiny scene at night. And the reason that the camera had to be below you is they were trying to show or not show the lights of the marina as little as possible. Oh, there's a picture of everyone.
That's everyone that was on the boat for that night. The hard part of that was that we had to stand there and keep sword fighting.
Take after take.
Take after take. My arm was killing me.
Sure.
My shoulder was killing me. And I was really afraid that it would, I personally was afraid it would not be good footage. But the editing of it and all that really makes it a good sword fight.
It looks a little jumbled, but again, it's a dangerous time. We're trying to show, I wanted to dispel some of the myths about pirates. Some things that I've learned through you and taking the tour at the museum, you know, and your line there is key when you say, we've taken an oath to protect women and children. So again, just like witches are not bad, pirates are not bad either. And I feel both factions have been maligned throughout history.
They have.
And given a bad rep.
So this picture that Davey just put up, this was a picture of during shooting the witch scene. So we shot in November for most of that.
The witch scenes were in November and the pirate scenes in January.
Yes. So it was a good period of time. So now so where is it officially going to be shown first?
Well, we're going to have a premiere. And I know this might be a little bit radical. Oh, there I am accosting one of the bad guys. That's Matthew Hopkins. But here's an idea. I'm thinking about renting a movie theater and showing my movie in a movie theater.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks neat to see yourself on the big screen.
That would be a lot of fun. We could have a party out of it.
The question is when everybody can come and see it. Because a lot of your crew have 9 to 5, Monday through Friday jobs, and
not only
you're busy on weekends.
Well, not only that, we have Spooktacular coming up. We have Panama City Beach coming up, and then I play the jolly old guy at Christmas time, which pretty much has me working nonstop all the way up from the weekend before Thanksgiving all the way up to Christmas Eve. So it's going to be tough. It's
going to be tight. It really is. And I want as many people as possible who were involved in the making of the movie and acting in the movie to come and see it. This is the reward for all the hard work. And
well, we'll work on some dates and see what we can come up with. So
let me ask you a question about that. And I didn't talk to you beforehand, before the show started. I was actually thinking about Veterans Day. Because a lot of people have that day off. And then I thought, would it be disrespectful?
I don't know that it would be disrespectful. It is a Monday, though.
Oh, I know, but
and we, believe it or not, we're planning a very special Veterans Day show for this show.
Ah, yes, that's true.
But you could do it on that Sunday, the 10th, that weekend.
It would have to be, of course, I know you're doing Spooktacular, so every weekend is booked for you up until Halloween. And then it has to be before Christmas, before your agenda gets even tighter.
So somewhere in the first 3 weeks of November.
A Thanksgiving holiday.
There we go.
The witches and pirates.
Well, I'll look at all my dates and we'll see what we can figure out. But it would be fun to have something. And I still have the locket. And I just told Christina, she still has some of the outfits, the costuming. And we thought we'd do something with them as far as some raffles.
Oh, sure.
To raise money, because you're a big fan of Alia's Acres.
Well, we actually shot at Alia's Acres.
Right. And so we would raise some money doing this as some kind of a party to have some fun and give some of the money to Alia's Acres as part of this premiere. We'd already talked about that. So be watching, because we're going to talk about this movie now every time we can. So where will it actually go? Like, we're going to talk about this other movie in just a few minutes that went to Orlando's film festival, right?
Right. And that's what usually these short independent films do. After a premiere, then you just take it out on the circuit. A lot of it can be done online. A lot of the festivals now are online and have been since COVID. But some of the festivals are live. I mean, I would love for it to wind up at Sundance, of course, one of the biggest
That would be
festivals,
fun.
or Cannes, if you want to go to France. But I am limited by the genre because my genre is fantasy, and not all film festivals have a fantasy genre. It's kind of looped in there with science fiction. And a lot of film festivals don't have that because so many people are not making movies that fall into that genre.
No.
It's all horror or adventure. So it's a little tough, but I find the festivals that I want to submit to. And my first movie did very well overseas. My second movie did better here in the States. So, I mean, that's what we do as filmmakers. We want to get the word out. We want the film to circulate. We want to get that renown, if you will.
And by doing that, okay, whatever that was, by doing that, you then are energized to do more.
That was your agent.
Yeah.
And now he's upping the game.
Yeah.
He wants 20% now.
Now I'm going to lose my percentage. So let's talk about, there was something else that was in my head and it's completely gone now. No comments from the Rogues Gallery, please. But you did another movie, but it was
recently.
Very recently, but it was a musical, but it was animation also?
No, it was a micro short. Yeah, it was part of the Orlando Independent Film Festival's rules are that these movies can only be 9 minutes long.
So this one that you did was 9 minutes.
9 minutes long.
Wow, I wasn't aware of that.
And it was a musical. And it was set in the Middle Ages.
And our own Davey was in it, and because it was a musical, Davey had to sing, which we've all recently found out that Davey can actually sing. So Davey, do you have a clip of the movie? Don't put it up yet. Do you have permission? No clip. Okay, but you do have the poster.
Yes.
Pop the poster up there, because ladies and gentlemen, look at this. They won 6 awards in Orlando. 6 out of 8. Best cinematography, best supporting actress, best set design, best music, best director,
and best picture.
And best picture. Look at all that. So that's really wonderful, and it's only 9 minutes long.
Correct.
I can't wait to see it.
Davey played the father of the ingenue, who is up top with me. I play again Snow White's evil queen, and she is Snow White, that gorgeous lady on the left.
What were you saying earlier? When you find your niche, you stick with it. So it's evil queens for you.
I guess. I mean, or haughty aristocrats.
That too.
Yeah.
So, are you going to do it? What prompted you to do this one? Was this something you thought about, or did just?
Well, I need to qualify. This is not my movie. This is Tracy Jane's movie. She is a powerful force, female director and writer that I had wanted to work with for many, many years. And I had reached out to her and we just kind of clicked. She's a Scorpio, I'm a Cancer. And it worked out. And I had an idea of filming at Otis Castle.
Yep.
So that gave us the foundation to then create the idea that we're in the Middle Ages, which is a metaphor for growing old. And the ingenue's parents sing about that. We're in the Middle Ages. And they mean within their lifetime, but also obviously where the movie was set historically.
Ryan, who is, he is one of the actors in the Pirate Dinner Theater down in Orlando.
Oh, wonderful.
He wants Davey and Mayhem sing. I can tell you that, I'll share with you my thought on singing.
Uh-oh.
I've always thought I was a terrible singer. Still pretty much to this day consider myself not a singer. Because I have this deep voice when I sing, I have that deep voice.
Well, you're a bass.
I am a very, very bass. But when I came back to St. Augustine, my hometown, and started doing pirating in 2007, I learned something. People love to hear pirates sing.
Oh.
They don't care if you can sing. They just want to hear pirates sing.
Oh.
And if you look on movies and whatever, when the pirates are singing, most of them can't sing in key anyway. And but I'm very blessed because I have some friends that are, and I'll mention them, Mark Miller and Rusty Cutlass, or Tom Mason and the Blue Buccaneers, who, by the way, Tom Mason passed away 3 weeks ago now. And very blessed that when I would have them come and perform at our events here, they always would drag me up on stage and let me sing with them. I think they were taking their life in their hands by allowing me to do that, but it always made me feel good that I was able to get up there and perform in yet one more venue of my entertainment career.
And actually, Colt Miller
Cole.
Is in the movie, and he plays the concertina.
Yep.
There's a whole scene where I wander into town and I just happen upon the pirates making merry, and we filmed that scene at the Pirate Museum.
And we actually
At night.
At night in the Colonial Quarter area, under the shadow of the watchtower.
And that's where we put this giant light to represent the moon, and it was actually a beautiful scene. And very well lit, and it was freezing cold.
It was cold
in
that
January, and it was 11 o'clock at night. You could see your breath, and Gina and her dancers are in that portion of the movie.
The whole
as well.
movie was a lot of fun to film, and this movie that you just did, this 9-minute segment, this is pretty cool. But I'm going to put Davey. Yeah, I'm going to put Davey on the spot because Davey was in it.
Oh, there we are recording it.
And that was the difference. We had to record the songs before we even got to be behind the camera.
We lip synced. We lip synced the whole track. We had to record it in Eclipse. And
At
then,
Eclipse Studio.
right. And then when they're actually filming, you're lip syncing to yourself. So there was no sound in the castle. You know, in many places in that Otis castle, there's no electric.
Right.
And there's no running water. And there's no bathrooms. It's like a real, it might as well be a real castle.
Yeah, it's a real castle.
And there, oh yeah, that's me getting ready for my scene. Tracy Jane in the ponytail and our crew. So, and that castle is just magnificent. What a place to film a movie or
that
make
was
a
fun.
music video or
I've often wanted to do something myself over there, and so Davey and I, this whole thing working with you on that movie, and then Davey working on this other one, and doing all these different things, and having been spending a lot of time watching all these short movies on YouTube. There's a channel on YouTube called Dust. And it's just a conglomeration of short movies, sci-fi, Western. And when we first met, I showed you a comedy Western that I want to turn into a pirate movie too.
And you start small. I mean, the reason we make shorts is because we don't have the money to make a full-length feature film. So, I mean, that's in the millions of dollars. And when you're first starting out, you finance your own movies. You don't, you know, you're not lucky enough to have a backer just come in and give you a pile of money.
No, and
You're making a film.
everybody in the film is going to be free. There's a little higher than slave labor.
Well, you feed them a nice meal.
Yeah, take care of them. But so Davey and I have got some really great ideas that we've been putting notes together. And one of these days when we have some time, which is probably now not going to be until 2025 because everything's coming up, we have this idea for a pirate movie. And I think with some of the things that Davey and I have put together as far as notes are concerned, I think it will be fun. I think it will be funny to people because I'm not much for a serious pirate movie. I think it's and it is probably one of the best reasons why some of the parts of Pirates of the Caribbean are such good pieces of movie, because Jack Sparrow just can't be serious to save his life.
It's almost like slapstick.
It is.
And Johnny Depp is a wonderful, uses a lot of physicality.
And we have a lot of pirates in my crew that have the abilities to fall within these talents. And it's wonderful. And so when you were working on Time Will Tell, you had already dreamed it up and written it all up before you met any of me or any of my pirates.
That's correct.
So when you met us, you just automatically that these guys will all fit in these characters.
Well, sure. I mean, something that I've been very blessed to experience, and I'm just so grateful, is that there's a synergy in the universe. Like, you know, when things just fall into place, you write something and then you meet the perfect person to embody that role. And that's been happening to me, you know, a lot. And I'm very grateful for it. You know, there's no way to explain it other than that the stars align and just things, if they're meant to be, will be.
Well, and the scene in the movie where we're in the captain's quarters was shot right here in my pirate room, in my man cave. We had to make some changes to a few things and
we had to turn all the bottles so that the labels don't show.
Yeah, there were no unless we missed one, and there's a challenge. There were no visible modern day labels visible, but we had to change things around, and
sure,
it was fun, and it made for tight quarters in here, making sure the cameras and the lights and everything were there, and we had just enough space to perform in. Is the scene with the chest in the movie?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because Davey only did bits and pieces for the clip, which we don't want to do the whole damn thing because we want everybody to come to the premiere. So, and there'll be no booing. You can laugh, but no booing. So, do you think you're going to do another pirate or another witch movie? I mean, this one was so much. So you've told me that this one was your more favorite one out of the four.
Yes, no, every movie we got better. I hired better people. I mean, that's at least we're going in the right direction. Every movie gets better than the last one.
Right.
Largely because I'm spending more money, but I'm good people in the business value what they do and are worth it. You get what you pay for. You want to take a cheap shot and hire your neighbor's son's girlfriend's cousin to do your editing, it's going to look like that.
Right.
If you want professionals, you hire professionals, and you have to make the concessions. You've got to save your money, and that's what I do. I save up my money. I call it my little movie fund for my voiceover work, and I put it aside, and then the ideas start to come and flow, and then I write them down. And I've gotten better as a writer, and that's not my forte either.
Right.
I'm an actress. I do set design because I love to go to thrift stores and I find unique treasures to put in my movies, like bottles that'll look great on your shelf, or skull little statues, or whatever that works. And there's months of preparation before you get in front of the camera, and there's months of post-production after the film, which is why it's hard to believe that my movie is only a half an hour long. And we stopped
hundreds of
principal
hours of
photography.
work.
Yeah, we stopped photography in January. We wrapped principal photography, and it's taken 8 months, and we just finished last night. So, I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of painstaking, microscopic.
And it is work.
Oh, it is.
And it's also, for me, it's work because I spent all my life up until 2015 or 16, where we did a play at the Colonial Quarter. That I was the drunk old wizard in the play, and I had to memorize hundreds of pages of lines.
Yeah.
And I was scared to death. I'd never memorized. I'm an improv actor.
Mm-hmm.
I have always been an improv actor. Everything I do about my magic and even when we do short clips for commercials with me and Davey, or with what we're doing for the Swashbucklers, I have in my head what I want to say. I say, go, we do it. And 98% of the time we get it in one clip.
That's great.
But
it's pressure when you have to learn.
But
lines,
I have to learn the lines.
The crew is counting on that, and the camera setup is geared toward a specific framework. And
it was tough. And there were a few of the lines that I did not get exactly right. At least they stood within the realms of believability.
As long as they're within the parameters,
That's it.
then that's good.
So, and I was given a small bit of leeway that relieved some of my stress, that there was a bit of leeway on my lines anyway. But I had fun. And now I've done a movie. I've done a scripted play on a stage. Choreography with ballet.
As a stunt person too.
Yep. And, sword fighting and stunt work. I'm just, who knew that in my 60s I would be doing all of this?
Hey, there are actors that were unknowns until they were in their 60s and 70s. And
so do you have an idea in your head for your fifth one?
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not much, but a little bit. Actually, it would be the same witch character. But actually, what I was thinking about the pirates is I'd love to do a movie about one of the female pirates. There's Anne Bonny.
There is Anne Bonny or Mary Read.
But there were others.
There were.
History has not even recorded the names of some of these women pirates.
And
Grace O'Malley has an amazing story.
She does, but I'm going to give you a piece of advice that I give people when they start taking on projects where they use a real pirate, a famous pirate,
or maybe make one up.
Yes, my advice would be to find one that when I was doing some research several years back on Blackbeard, and in that research stumbled across the idea that there were many female pirates during the colonial times up into the British Revolution, or the American Revolution with the British. I've always told people that if you take on the character of Blackbeard as your pirate character, or you take on any of these others, there are some people in the realm. Well, let me back up. Let me put it to you this way. I've used this analogy before, and somebody that was in the movie that we met at Ancient City Con 2 years ago, I told him how I used the analogy of the movie he was in my acting classes, and he wholeheartedly said, yes, that's exactly right. Galaxy Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy Quest is a tongue-in-cheek look at the actors of Star Trek, because there were no cons until they started doing some stuff with Star Trek in the late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And the actors, they didn't know shit from Shinola about their characters, but the fans knew everything about their characters. And that's exactly what Galaxy Quest, one of the points of Galaxy Quest, is that the fans knew so much more. And the fans are the ones that helped save the day at the end of the movie.
Sure.
So if you create something, if you're going to create something based on a real life historical character, you have to cross your T's and dot your I's completely, because other people who may know more about it will see that you didn't dot your I's and cross your T's, and their opinion and their words of your work will not be as glorious as you like.
There's always going to be the people that are hypercritical.
Absolutely.
For example, in my movie Time Will Tell, we used Matthew Hopkins, who was a real historical figure, and his business partner, if you want to call him that, Dr. John Stern. And they were two real men, and they teamed up and rode horses on horseback and went town to town to town down the eastern side of England. And in 2 years, with everything I just said, keeping that in mind, managed to accuse and execute over 300 supposed witches.
And they were making money at it.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
why they were doing it. It was
a business.
It was a scam.
It was a career.
It was a career, a scam, a business.
So
when you create a character, if you want to create, I suggest that you find the details of maybe several of the women that we research, and then create your own character.
And extrapolate. Similar to what we did with Bartholomew Roberts,
Right.
and you being the character embodying the essence of him, Bartholomew Redding.
Right.
And the dates don't even align,
No,
because
the
this is
dates aren't.
1647, and
Bartholomew
golden age of piracy was 1680.
1680, 1690, 1700. So
Yeah, so we've stretched the truth a little bit.
they do it with all movies anyway.
Artistic license.
Artistic license is a good one.
Yeah.
So, but if you do, and you put pirates in it, great. If you don't put pirates in it, if you find a part, for me, I'd love to do it all over again and have some fun with it, because it was fun. I enjoyed it. But it just depends on where you go with your storyline. I'm sure that's still.
It's all percolating.
It's in your head and not on paper.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, that's the way I work. And of course, things change a lot too. You can draft what you think is a pretty good idea, and then once you start running it by other people, they change and edit. And
Oh, I've had that happen with me with magic routines before, where I thought a magic routine was the best thing in the world, and believe it or not, we actually performed one of my routines that I thought was wonderful, and the reaction of the audience was terribly embarrassing. Terribly embarrassing. I wanted to go back and look at see if we got any good comments there. I know you guys may have been watching, but let's just see if anybody made some comments here. So thank you for Parlay 8 being here. I see Sketchy Guy out of Nevada is in. He stepped in. Very good. Parlay 8, still like my Mr. Potato Head. I know. Hey, I just keep decorating my set here with everything. And yes, Octopod will be there. And I do see that Emily Farrell is in our audience. There's Bo, the fantastic photographer of all things pirate. There's Emily Farrell. We thank you for being there. Christina Gibson is right there. Both were wonderful in the movie. I'm sure she's talking about all of our crew. Donna appreciated the compliment. It was very, very well meant. Ryan, for you to hear Davey and Mayhem sing, it will take at least an extra bottle of rum, and we'll have to convince Davey he needs to drink a couple of shots too, so he sounds better.
And we need to videotape that.
And we need to videotape it
for blackmail material.
And wait, you were on Masters of the Universe? Yes, my son, I was. Believe it or not, I was just an extra though. Will the Historian is my son up in Alabama. Thought I told you that once, but there you go. And Ryan says, I meant to ask about last week, but what's everyone's favorite shanty? Oh, that's a good question. I'll have to remember that one. I have several. But now I have one more because somebody sent me a clip of a woman with a fiddle turning Devil Went Down to Georgia into a sea shanty.
Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, Charlie Daniels song into a sea shanty. So I was very impressed with it. So that might be my new favorite sea shanty now, if I can learn it. So we'll see. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, now you know what Vesta and the St. Augustine Swashbucklers have been doing from November to present day, and Davey's been involved. And there's one of the awards. Was that taken the night of the awards?
It was. I was accepting for Best Supporting Actress and also Best Set Design.
Very good.
And I was actually doing a tribute to the castle owner, Rusty Ix, who passed away last year. And so I was saying this award belongs to him.
Very cool. Very cool. So I can't wait to the next adventure. There's Davey Longwood, dressed as a normal, everyday person.
The photographer caught us right as we walked in.
Look how handsome.
Yeah.
Right by the concession stand.
And by the way, before I forget, I will give you a first quick early happy birthday, mate. Your birthday's coming up this week, and he actually is catching up with me. All right, Davey. We always go into This Week in History right after the guest. So why don't you go ahead and pop This Week in History up there now. Right. Sponsored by Marco's Pizza, who, by the way, have signed on for another year of sponsorship with us.
Hey.
We have Marco's Pizza, and they've asked to be a part of, pardon me, a part of Spooktacular, and they would like to see if there's a way they could be a part of the Pirate Festival in February. So we'll see what we can do with them. I'm supposed to have a meeting with them sometime this week. Davey, how about This Week in History?
Welcome to This Week in History, sponsored by our good friends at Dick's Wings Bar and Grill. Wings, salads, wraps, quesadillas, and more. No matter what your taste buds crave, they've got you covered. We begin This Week in History in the year 1780. British Major John Andre reveals Benedict Arnold's plot to betray West Point. 1789. President George Washington nominates John Jay for first Chief Justice. 1875. Billy the Kid is arrested for the first time and jailed after receiving clothing stolen from a Chinese laundry. Escapes 2 days later. 1892. First public appearance of John Philip Sousa's New Marine Band at Stillman Music Hall in Plainfield, New Jersey. 1919. Boston Red Sox slugger Babe Ruth sets MLB season home run record at 28 off Yankee Bob Shockey in a 2-1 loss at the Polo Grounds in New York City. 1937. First Santa Claus training school opens, Albion, New York. 1938. Adolf Hitler issues ultimatum to the government of Czechoslovakia, demanding Sudetenland be ceded to Germany. 1952. American fast food restaurant chain KFC opens its first franchise in Salt Lake City, Utah. 1957. That'll Be the Day, single by Buddy Holly and the Crickets, reaches #1 in the U.S. 1964. TV sitcom Gilligan's Island, starring Bob Denver as Gilligan, debuts on CBS. 1976. U.S. televised presidential debate between Republican incumbent Gerald Ford and Democratic challenger Jimmy Carter. 2008. SpaceX launches the first ever private spacecraft, the Falcon 1, into orbit. And finally, in 2015, Pope Francis becomes the first pope to address the U.S. Congress. Names Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Thomas Merton and Dorothy Day as American heroes. And that was This Week in History.
Very good, Davey. Now, normally I have a from the captain's desk, but tonight I didn't really write one. I try to find something that ticks me off and then I write about it. I'm just going to say this. If you have to badmouth somebody for their opinion and it's not the same as your opinion, then you've forgotten what this country is all about. Everybody has their own opinions. It does not make us enemies in any way, shape, or form. But when you start bad-mouthing people and threatening violence, that's not what the United States of America is all about. Respect everybody. Whether it's different or not, respect. And that's all I'm going to say. Probably it came to my head because we were making sure we researched the ways that my wife and I are going to do our voting process this year. There are 3 ways to do it here in the St. Johns County: by mail, by early voting, and by day of. Go and look. I should have told Davey to put the website up there, but it'll give you all the information, and we've done our research. So vote. That is the way you change things, not violence. Your vote is important, and that's how we change things in this country. We don't change things by threats and violence. We change things by vote. And if the vote doesn't go the way you want it to, work harder next time and make the vote go the way you want it to. But it's vote that is important, not disrespect, not threats, not violence. That's all I'm going to say. Davey, do you have a thing for guests on deck? Very good, Davey. And if you're watching the show in any way, shape, or form and would like to have our show be a part of the announcements and advertisements for your event, by all means, give us a holler. I think I need to put Octopod on my show. I think that would be a lot of fun. Now, bring Minnie Mayhem in. I want to find out what kind of a pirate goes with a fish.
Okay, it's time for the answer to the joke of the week. Which famous pirate caught the most fish? The answer is Captain Hook.
Should have known that, Captain. Look at Mandy going, yeah, you should know.
I was, you know why I didn't think of that? I was thinking of real pirates.
Oh.
All right, Davey, give a thank you to everybody on our video. It's time for us to upgrade this soon, but go ahead.
The Captain's Quarters podcast is indeed a ship sailing the seas of the world, always in search of history, knowledge, and adventure. It takes a crew to run a ship, so we take this opportunity to thank those who help keep this ship afloat.
The casting crew: Captain William Mayhem, Navigator Davy Longwood, Gunner Hellfire Henley, Cartographer Mandy Joe, the Powder Monkey, and Juan Cam.
Helping others gives a crew purpose. Our treasured charities that we support: Inc., investing in kids; the Humane Society of St. Johns County; Aelia's Acres, a no-kill animal rescue zone; and the Cadets of the St. Johns County Fire Department. The 4 major charities that we support, but there's always room for more.
You too can be part of the crew and support the show in many ways. Go to Patreon. A small monthly contribution as Powder Monkey or First Mate memberships, or a single contribution. PayPal or Venmo. Go to YouTube Hit the like and follow buttons to join our ranks and support the show. It does take a crew. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. So now you can watch us, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, on all these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. Those are all visual. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Music, Amazon, Twitter, Castbox, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. Spotify is sound only, Davey? I thought it was both.
I'm not sure.
All right, we might have to find out. I thought it was both. But anyway, that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 platforms that you can find us on. That's almost as many platforms as we can get out to. So there you go. What are our numbers? Hey, we hit 1,600.
Yeah.
All right. What's that?
Mandy and I thought we'd surprise you with that. We hit
Well,
that.
thank you very much. I like those kind of surprises. 1,600. So now, what's our next goal? Let's see. We're still in September, October, November, December. Think we can hit 1,700 by January 1st? The silence is deafening. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to send us an email and tell us what you think, bad or good, I prefer constructive criticism over destructive criticism. It's always nice. So if you have an idea, you have a thought, you have a suggestion, you have some advice, email us at captainsquarterspodcast21@gmail.com. And so it makes it easy for you to remember that 21 is the year we started. September 2021 is when we started. So keep us in mind for anything you have. If you want to be a part of our show, we'd love to have you. I already know I have a couple of other guests to be put on the list for next Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. John Lennox is a sword choreographer for the movies and teaches pirate boarding, shipboarding. We're going to have him on the show, I believe, in November. A company here hit 1718 by November when they murdered Blackbeards. That would be a good one, but that's 118 subscribers away. I like impossibilities, but we'll see. I do have a friend that has a daddle pepper sauce company, and believe it or not, the name of their company is Mayhem.
Oh.
And so we've been talking for about a year and a half on how to do some things together. Yeah. There's a daddle pepper convention. If it wasn't this past weekend, it is next weekend, or was it the weekend of Ancient City Con? Whatever it was, I couldn't attend, but they would like to come on the show, and they make some good daddle pepper sauce. I like it. And it's got my name on it, so I might as well go ahead and really like it. So we'll see if we can get them along. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we've done a show now for 1 hour and 35 minutes. I always say, we get a good guest, the show's going to go for a while.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. And did you get a coin last time?
I did, but I'd love to add to my collection.
We're going to give you another one right here. There's you another coin to go with it.
It's a trifecta.
You now have it. There you go.
Thank you.
And we're working on all kinds of other things. We're working on the idea of having merchandise for the show. Ooh. We hope that you'll tune in when we start doing that. I still think about that daddle pepper whiskey. Ah, yes. I do have daddle pepper whiskey here now, too. Believe it or not. It's been a good show. I thank you very much. I always like to give the guest the last word.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I owe you and your crew so much. I don't think I would have a fourth movie if it weren't for you guys. So thank you for your patience and your talents. I really appreciate it. So I'll see you at the movies when we make our premiere.
Yes, and we're going to take the trailer that we have now, And I think we'll show it on our show every week for the next couple of weeks, all the way up to the premiere when we decide.
Oh, thank you. That's very generous of you.
And I'd like to, if it's all right, I'd like to go ahead and post it, use it on my personal Facebook page, but the crew's Facebook page too, because they should all be bragging about it too.
You may indeed.
All right. So Davey will have to get that clip over to me so we can give it out to the crew. You guys did a great job. Mandy, you doing okay out there in Utah? Turn your microphone on.
Yes. Well, my space bar is supposed to do it, but my space bar is like 3/4 broken on my keyboard because I use it too much. So I have to get it.
Mandy's spacing out.
Oh, time for a new keyboard.
I have it. We just have to put it in.
This weekend.
A lot of great guests at that con.
Just remember, nothing make me happier than Gina Davis.
We'll see what we can get from Gina Davis. This will be a fun one to see what we can get.
Yeah, tell her her biggest fan is in St. Augustine, Florida, and her movie is my favorite pirate movie over all the Pirate of the Caribbean movie.
Nice. There is a Fan X that is in Florida.
Yeah.
So they could have had her down there, but I don't know what city it was in. I didn't pay enough attention, but I think it was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it figures. So I'll have to pay attention. So, well, you have fun this weekend. Is it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Realize I'm in Utah. They don't do anything on Sundays, and I added to get like a whole bunch of liquor and stuff because it makes more sense.
Yeah, I know. And there's a distillery out there now making Brigham rum.
That's in Salt Lake. The distillery is actually in Utah.
Wow.
My goodness.
Well, have fun at that on Thursday or Friday or Saturday. I'll be at the museum all day Saturday. My tours on Friday have been canceled, so I'll be here at the house Thursday and Friday. If something happens to click where you have to have me on a conference call, just let me know.
Will do.
I look forward to seeing you in October. Tell everybody out there. And who would have known that Kentucky Fried Chicken started in Utah?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? I didn't know that. See? That's one of the things about this show. Even I learn something new every week.
Well, and that's the way it should be.
And it should be. So very good. Good show. Great job, Davey. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll see you later on in the week. And Mandy, we'll see you in a month. Go ahead, Davey. Take it away.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always. We can't do it without you. We could, but it would be very boring. It's more fun to have an audience and to have you join us every Monday night at 8 o'clock.
Skull.
Bye.